Now, in terms of your question for like how long it's been around, so it was first photographed in 1899 by an Italian guy named Secondo Pia. He was given permission to come photograph it for the very first time because photography was still really new. And when he took his photographs, he discovered that the photo negatives on the glass plates that he had came out as positives. And this is one of the most remarkable things about the shroud, is that when he took a picture of it, he realized that the image on the shroud was itself a photo negative, and that when you look at the actual photo negative, the image becomes photo positive. And he was so amazed by this that, he was so amazed by this that he almost dropped the glass plate. And when he showed his results to people, they thought he was crazy. And from then on, that was when the shroud, which had formerly been an object of religious veneration, of course, because it's an image of Christ and it's, this very mysterious thing, but it went from being just another relic in a church to being an object of like actual scientific scrutiny when Secondo Pia photographed it for the first time there at the very end of the 19th century. And for the next 70 years or so, people tried to do as much research as they could without having access to it. And then in 1978, a team of scientists called the Shroud of Turin Research Project, or just STURP for short, STURP was granted 120 hours straight to research the shroud hands-on, to do all kinds of experiments, everything that they could think of to do. They took sticky tape samples, they took micro photographs of it, they shined UV light on it, they lit it from behind to see, they also unsewed the backing cloth from it. It's called the Holland cloth that had been sewn onto it at centuries before just to give it more structure. And so they did all that kind of research. And so 1978 was when all of that scientific research started to come out, because what they expected when they walked in, they expected to walk in and just scrape the paint off of it. They'd be like, okay, well, it's just a fancy, weird painting, right? But what they found was that there is no paint that makes up the image itself. The image is not made of anything that an artist would use to create an image. So it's not paint, it's not a stain, there's no ink, there's no pigments, no powders. So that just opened up a whole new field of research, which we now call syndenology, which is literally the study of the Shroud of Turin, and also the Sudarium of Oviedo, which is a second cloth that I can talk about later, perhaps. So when they discovered that the image was not made of paint, suddenly they had a real mystery on their hands, which was, how was this thing made?
And that was in what time frame was that when that realization came forth?
Yeah, that was in 1978.
Okay.
Now, we do know, we're kind of arrogant in our modern knowledge, right? But as it turns out, centuries before, like centuries earlier, if you look at some of the historical evidence of where the shroud came from, one of the early names that it was called was Akira Poieton, which in Greek means not made with human hands. As it turns out, these ancient people were also smart enough to realize that it was not paint. But that realization, because it was stowed away for so long, was sort of lost on the common population. So in 1978, they discovered, the image is not made of paint. And they did take some samples of it. And in 1988, they did a carbon dating test on it, which did come back.
This is what I remember.
Yes.
I was in school at the
This
time.
is where it really sort of took off, because everybody was fascinated by it. But in 1988, the carbon dating results came back that it was from the Middle Ages,
right,
between the 1200s and 1300s, which is incidentally exactly the point in history where we know that it started, because 1355 was the year that it sort of officially went on display in France, and the Descharny family was literally selling admission to go see it. So that's like the first known point of it in history, tracing it back from modern times.
Let me